What's going on, guys? Another instant reaction here. Make sure you click that subscribe button and follow the Connor and Mark Show on Twitter and Instagram as well. Breaking news is we just saw the Philadelphia Eagles have traded out of the sixth spot of the upcoming draft in April back to Miami spot to number 12. This news really started with a pile of news that broke about an hour ago that the San Francisco 49ers traded up to the third spot, which was originally held by the Miami Dolphins. They went back to number 12, and then now the Eagles have now swapped the number 6 pick in the draft back to number 12 with Miami. So Miami moves back to 12, up to 6, where the Eagles are picking. Big news out of the Eagles front. Mark, I'm just sitting here on my phone. It pops up, and it's a huge deal here. What's your instant reaction to this? This is huge news for the Eagles front.
I mean, I'm definitely frazzled and rattled, whatever word you want to put to how this past 30 minutes have gone. I know you reached out, and the domino effect that we just touched on was San Francisco moving up to Miami's third spot, and then Miami making another move. And I just thought that they would be content at 12, and that's really what they wanted. And then we got this, astronomical news of the Eagles now moving back to San Francisco's original spot at 12. And now my mind is just flying with, possibilities of who they're going to take and really where this franchise is thinking for the future. And it really looks like they're moving more towards a rebuild and trying to be competitive next year. As they acquired in the deal Miami's next year's first round pick. There's some, mid round swaps, but overall, right in just this past 10 minutes, I've been trying to think of some guys that they might be looking at that 12 spot, and 4 guys, 5 guys actually that come to mind is Caleb Farley, and who's a cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Not a lot has been around this name just because Patrick Surtain has been more of the premier cornerback, but if Surtain or Farley is there at 12, I think that's someone that you have to get. And then at the wide receiver position, you got Jalen Waddle out of Alabama and his teammate that lined up across from him, Devontae Smith. So you got a lot of possibilities moving back here at 12, as we've talked about a lot. It's a very top-heavy quarterback draft, but there's so many places that they can go. And the last guy that I was thinking that's been really impressive, posting a pretty good 40 time is Micah Parsons out of Penn State.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of possibilities they can go. This makes me think that since they moved back at 12, and I'm going to throw it back to you so you can obviously give your 2 cents on where they may go. I think they're going to go defensive minded here. I think you move out of the top 10, you start getting into more of the premier defensive players, as the top 10 is probably going to be filled with a lot of quarterbacks, wide receivers, and some O-linemen.
Here, this is a lot to dive into this trade. So the Eagles officially tweeted out 21 minutes ago as we're recording this to trade. Eagles have traded the 6th pick and 156 overall pick to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for the 12th pick. The number 123, which would be in the 3rd round, I believe. So 30, 69. It would be the 3rd or 4th round, right around there. So they move up about 30 given spots, and then they get a 2022 first round pick. So a next year first round pick coming back in the deal for the Philadelphia Eagles. That will be the Miami's Dolphins first round pick. Also, an interesting tidbit here from Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network. The Eagles tried to trade up for to number 3, but they would only do it for quarterback out of BYU, Zach Wilson, source said. Instead, they back out, get an extra first round pick, and continue to build. So in the new slotted order here for the 2021 NFL draft next month is going to be Jaguars, Jets, Niners at the number 3 spot. The Atlanta Falcons 4, Bengals 5 to 6 spot now belongs to the Miami Dolphins. Now following 7 Lions, 8 Panthers, 9 Broncos, 10 Dallas Cowboys, 11 the New York Giants, and then the Philadelphia Eagles slide at the number 12 spot. Just a crazy whirlwind news that dropped in the past hour. I'm trying to just figure out the motive of the deal and why they wanted to do it. Obviously, the first round pick coming back is huge for next year, depending on where the Miami Dolphins finish at the end of the next year's season. But looking at it's weird because the report that Rappaport just said with them trying to go up to number 3 with Zach Wilson, then instead of just staying at 6, they go back to 12. It's just crazy. I don't know. I'm a little upset because we were so keen in on guys like Kyle Pitts, guys like Jamar Chase, that they were going to get at number 6 with the amount of quarterbacks that be going that high. It's surprising. I'm a little upset about it, but maybe I'll have to sleep on it for a day and then come back to it and see where I stand on the current trip. As of right now, it's a little shocking and upsetting, but Like you said, if guys like Micah Parsons, if guys like Jalen Waddle are there at 12, I think it's a pretty good trade because they are still some pretty insignificant impact players there. But like we go to, they intentionally threw that last game for a reason. They get the 6th spot, and it looks like they get a first round pick out of it for 2022. So I don't know if this is going to be a big trade in the future. Maybe they can go out and get a Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. I know there's a lot of drama around him currently with the allegations going against the quarterback in Houston, but as of right now, it's a little shocking, and we're going to see where the dust settles after this huge move.
Yeah, definitely shocking. But the one thing I do want to say, and this actually tied in hand, show over the or however many years how he has been drafting, it shows that when he has a guy in mind, if he wants that guy, he'll do whatever it takes to move. Obviously, what Miami was asking for, I guess, either the 49ers beat him to beat him to the deal, or it just was way too much and we didn't have enough to offer for it. But my point here is they're moving back to 12. So they're obviously not content with what they were going to get at 6, and they weren't content with whatever it was that was being asked at 3. So this is one of the most high-powered and high-powered talented drafts I've seen in a while on both sides of the ball. And like I said, once you get past that 10 spot, it's not really like it drops off significantly. It only really rotates to the other side of the ball, and that's on the defensive end. And you can get a really good defensive player. And personally, I would love to see a cornerback, like I mentioned, Surtain or Farley, line up across from Slay. And if you have a first-round pick next year, depending on how this team does as well, you could have 2 more great opportunities to go get a quarterback next year as well, and a skilled position and a wide receiver. So I'm not terribly upset with the pick. Honestly, I'd rather them move down and move more away from drafting a quarterback potentially and going in a different direction because this team needs so much help in other places. But the last thing that I did want to leave off on this instant reaction about, because I'm sure once, we post this and everything and wrap up, there's probably going to be another trade because this just seems like a ripple effect is maybe going to go across the NFL here. I know we didn't drop this yet, but we recorded the episode for the Saturday radio show, and I know I did predict a trade at 3 for the Broncos, but I also did predict a trade at 4, and I wouldn't entirely rule that out just yet, that the Falcons, get some callers now that there's been some activity on the draft board already.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to be going down soon. We'll make sure if any news drops on the Eagles front, any more trades or moves and stuff like that, we'll be updating on our social media page as well as our YouTube page. So make sure you subscribe to the Connor and Mark Show on YouTube and follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. So as it currently stands right now, the Eagles are going to be picking 12th in the upcoming draft, trading back from 6 to 12. It's shocking. It's a lot of information coming through, and I didn't see that coming. I knew that the Niner trade was huge and it dropped, and then I checked my phone about 10, 15 minutes later, and I see the Eagles are back at 12. So a lot to digest. Hopefully, there'll be some more moves coming. Just if you want to say something to say.
Yeah, I was going to say last thing, just to wrap the instant reaction up. At 12, who are you picking?
Well, it depends who's there. If a Waddle's there, definitely. If a Parsons is there, definitely.
Yeah, just saying they're there. Who would you take? One guy.
If Jalen Waddle's there, I'm taking Jalen Waddle.
I think I agree. I would take Jalen Waddle too.
But if Micah Parsons is there, it's pretty tough too.
Yeah, he posted.
I don't think they'll do that.
Unofficial 4.3 40 time yesterday. So that's the other thing. These 40 times are starting to come out on these guys' pro days, and guys are looking around the league, and maybe this is a really good move for Roseman, where he sees some potential, below 10, and like you said, first round pick we got for next year. So it couldn't, this could really be a good move for the Eagles in the future, not only in the draft next year, but, a prospect at 12 this year could be a game changer for this team as well.
Yeah, April is big, and we talked about this for a while, how big this draft's going to be. So it's it changes the mindset on the draft, because I think at 6 there's players there. I think it's going to be a lock, but at 12 it's not going to be a lock as much as it's going to be at 6. So I always got to be ready to go and making that pick. If they make the pick or not, if they're going to trade it away, we don't know yet. So there's still a lot of time. We're almost a month away from the NFL draft, so we have a lot of time to dissect and talk about this topic. But we're gonna end this here. But make sure you obviously follow us on social media. Click the subscribe button on your YouTube page to keep up with our content. If any more moves drop, anything else drops, we'll be back here talking on the podcast as well. So we'll see you guys next week.